Hi everyone.
Welcome back to the channel. This is a sample video of our latest podcast episode in which we review the new documentary film Takeout.
Takeout, the documentary, uncovers the devastating impact our food choices have on the destruction of the Amazon through fires and deforestation.
It highlights how corporate greed, global food consumption, and political corruption create conditions that are irreparably harming our ecosystem.
The film Takeout is great to share with other people to help raise awareness about this very important issue.
To listen to our full podcast review, you can join us on Patreon, which is linked in the description below this video.
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy this short sample, and we'll see you next video.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Now, the filmmakers set out to uncover the real reasons behind the Amazon rainforest fires, implying that the real reasons were not so widely discussed in the mainstream media at the time.
Yeah, I think a lot more has come out since,
Yes.
Certainly in the research that we did, but initially there wasn't a whole lot of discussion, I don't think, and certainly not to the depth that this film goes into.
Exactly. That's why this film was needed.
Yeah.
Now, when some people hear that one of the primary reasons for the destruction of the Amazon is for soy production, they think it's for tofu and other soy-based vegan products, right?
Your soy burgers, your soy milk, it's you, isn't it?
Exactly.
This tiny little, and the irony is they say, oh, vegans won't make a difference. You're tiny, you don't have any impact. Oh, really? But all of a sudden,
we're now responsible for burning down the Amazon rainforest? Yeah, well,
exactly.
Which is it? Those double standards again that annoy vegans, which we've got a podcast episode on,
Exactly, right.
Now, about 70% of soy is grown for animal feed and biofuel.
Yeah, this is the missing link. People don't realise that soy production is not going to all the vegans and all the veggie burgers and the soy milk and whatnot.
And the tofu.
It's going to feed animals, to fatten them up before they're slaughtered so that other people can eat them.
Exactly. Now, Moby is featured in this documentary as he was in Endgame 2050 and other documentary films.
Yeah.
And he is a really great interviewee, isn't he?
He does so good. In all of the films that we've seen him in recently, we were sort of mentioning this to each other, talking about it at the end of the film. We're like, he does a really good job. He's
really good job.
He's articulate.
Yes.
He's concise. He always, of course, has that ethical foundation to what he speaks about. He just comes from such a great place, I feel. Yeah, I really enjoy having him in these films.
And he's both serious and humorous at the same time. Do you find that?
Yeah.
Which I find makes it palatable to the viewer what he's saying.
Yes.
And he also...
He's got a bit of dry humour, I think.
Yeah. That's
right.
That's
what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I will say though, he didn't. I don't know if he recorded all of these interviews for these films before he got his tattoos, because there was no vegan neck tattoo in this film.
Yeah.
So I'm like, are they covering it up? Is it makeup, or did he just do a whole heap of interviews before he got inked?
I think he did the interviews before he got inked.
Probably.
Yeah.
So
he says, for example, when you say to someone, why are rainforests cut down? Well, most people will say it's wood for houses or maybe for palm oil. Most don't know about animal agriculture.
And I guess if you didn't know about animal agriculture, that's what you would think of, isn't it?
Yes.
What else would we be cutting down all those trees for? Or it must be because of everyone needs houses, or everyone wants timber furniture or something.
Exactly.
Or palm oil, let's blame that.
And that's why it's very deceptive of the industry, don't you think?
Of
to
course.
not disclose that to consumers?
Yeah, which we'll get into. So soy that's grown in the Amazon is primarily sent to Europe and the USA, as we said, to feed cows, to fatten them up. So it's not like even all of this soy production stays within South America.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking, as we were preparing for this podcast episode, I was thinking of the expression, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah. Well, in this case, what happens in the Amazon doesn't stay in Brazil or South America.
Yeah.
Its ramifications are global.
And I think this is another very interesting point, that consumers around the world don't realise that they are directly impacting what's happening in the Amazon, which of course is what this film is about.
That's right.
It's like, oh, it's over there. It's something happening over there. It's something the Brazilians are doing.
Oh, and how bad is it? Oh, isn't that terrible? Aren't those fires in the Amazon rainforest just despicable? Aren't they disgusting?
Yeah.
Those Brazilians and their love of meat.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're not making that connection. Oh, it's what I buy here in I don't know, Chicago, or in
New York or Los Angeles.
Wherever, or in Europe as well.
Yeah.
That is directly impacting. It's causing those fires. So that link is so crucial.
It is. So farmers burn the forest to clear land quickly to plant soy and other crops.
Yeah, that's basically the crux of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And they're just the footage of when they clear land. I always find that really sad. Emotionally, I feel...
Yes.
And I don't know if people listening can relate to this. sometimes you see old footage, probably from
70s?
I was going to say 80s or
Okay,
90s,
80s,
but
yeah.
maybe earlier as well, where they have the bulldozers and there's a chain and they would drive the bulldozers forward and the chain would pull down the trees.
Yes.
And then they'd go in with the chainsaw. I always used to feel really distraught about that, even when I was younger, obviously before I went vegan. It's like something inside me went, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we innately know, sorry to cut you off, I feel like we innately know that something there is wrong and this is bad, and it feels like a little part of you falls with that tree.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Now, one of the protagonists in the documentary film was current Brazilian President Jair. I think his name might be pronounced his first name, I'm not sure, but his surname is more easily pronounceable, Bolsonaro. He's one of the main problems in this situation. We're going to talk more about him in a minute.
Yeah, I got a new name for him.
What is it?
Balls and up arrow.
Oh, I like it.
It's a bit of Aussie slang.
Yeah.
When you ball something up in Australia, that means to really make a mess.
Up?
Yeah, you've effed up. You've made a mess of it. You've just totally screwed something
I
up.
like that. I like that. Yeah.
Bolsonaro has balls it up arrow. Balls and up. How did I say it?
Balls and up arrow.
Yeah. He's balls up the Amazon.
Very, very good. Very apt. Now, what's not a laughing matter is that over 2 million people live in and depend on the forest for food and shelter. So this is people's lives we're talking about here, as well as the lives of animals.
Yeah, and they're just being kicked out of their homes.
Yeah, it's a real
extraordinary.
David versus Goliath, where David is really copping a pummeling from Goliath.
Well, I was kind of thinking of the film Avatar.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Absolutely. If you've seen Avatar, that's really what's happening. Farmers, now this is another interesting thing that came out of the documentary for us. You always learn so much when you watch these documentary films. That's why we like to review them, to share the information that we learn, because there's always something. We've been vegan 9 years this month.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and coming up in a fortnight, and you're always learning.
You're never an expert.
Never.
Certainly not on every single angle that is involved in this story,
So farmers found a way to get around the system. When I say the system, any restrictions around deforestation.
Yeah.
Through something called cattle laundering, which is similar to money laundering.
This was actually extraordinary. Again, the fact that somebody has come up with this, and it kind of reminds me of when we watch films, like crime films or